Our yacht was stinking in admin and paperwork, but I found the solution. I used this productivity software called ClickUp to run our yacht like a business. It tracks our tasks, schedules, and documents all in one app. Now, safety drills are logged as a task, crew scheduling is automated, and important docs are stored and searchable. What used to take me 3 days a month now takes me half a day. It's super customizable whether you're selling a yacht or scaling a company. Get our custom yacht management template today when you try ClickUp for free at clickup.com/rich podcast. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Rich as Fuck podcast, the show where we talk about money, life, investing, and all things yachting. Today I'm sitting down with Alex Siegars. He's one of the founders of Yachties Name and Shame on Facebook, and a new development in the pipeline that we'll touch on called Yacht Crew Center. Hailing all the way from Palma with a magnificent mustache. How are you, good sir?
I'm doing fantastic, man. Pleasure to meet you. Pleasure to talk to you. How you doing? I know you're 9 hours behind me and probably, probably rainy San Diego right now, right?
Actually, the gloom has burnt away. It's pretty nice out there now. And yeah, we've got our first day off in weeks. So I decided to hop on the microphone and catch up on some podcasts.
I bet, man. It's nice to talk to you. It's been pretty busy. I'm sure it's been busy for you as well. San Diego is sick, man. We were talking about hiking just recently. There's parts of the PCT, which is just the opposite of the Appalachian Trail, that you can catch a bus to and go do some miles up there.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. It's nice getting in touch. Nice to talk a bit. Been a busy day.
Good.
It's everything coming together, it seems.
Yeah, man, that's amazing. And yeah, you're right. Like San Diego is epic. It's made a lot of difference in tolerability in yachting, where you're like at the end of a workday, instead of being in Fort Lauderdale having to go for beers somewhere, now it's like, okay, I'm just gonna grab my hiking pack and go hit the trails after work. Like it's such a different environment. It's crazy.
That's so epic. It's like that's what I feel about Palma here as well. It's when you get off of work, instead of the usual going to get pissed at Freddy's or the Bimini bar or wherever the heck in Fort Lauderdale, you can actually go do some of your hobbies, go up in the mountains, go rock climbing. Like we were talking about, you just did an ultra marathon in my backcountry, the Appalachian Mountains and Grandfather Mountain. But it's like I grew up climbing and hiking and camping all through that area. And by coming here, it's just this little mystery. And it's like all this new different stuff you get to do. And you don't have to be on the piss all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's one of the things for us yacht crew members is trying to figure out those hobbies outside of that when the industry pushes that sort of lifestyle so hard.
Yeah, you're so right. And I'm glad you're enjoying Palma. That's actually where I started yachting 6-7 years ago. And I've always kind of seen it as my home away from home. It's good. It's good for work. It's good for outdoor adventures. And the Spanish know what's up. It's a cool place to be at.
Yeah, man. They know how to live life. I've been figuring that out. Definitely different than the United States, but it's got my heart being my first med season and all.
Yeah, it's true. They in the Med, I feel like they tend to stop and smell the roses a bit more. People in America are like on the hedonic treadmill and the forever hamster wheel at all times, late for a meeting. These people are like, fuck that. I'm taking a nap after my lunch break, and then I will open the store whenever I want.
I love that part. The siestas, I'm like, it's actually not a bad idea. You work all morning at 2:00 and you're like, oh, I'm going to take a little break here. Take a bit of a nap, wake up, have an espresso, finish out your day. It's bliss. It's so nice. Being American, I'm just like, execute. Still, that's there. But then you tie in the European, just flow with it. And it's becoming something quite nice until I have to come back to the States.
That's great, man. And tell me about your yachting. What do you do? Where do you work? What boat you on?
So I was a mate on a 32 meter for the last 2.5 years. It's a boat called Marin. We did charters in the Caribbean and the Bahamas. And then that's where this idea for YCC, what I'm building right now, came into existence. And I left that job back in February to go full-time into this project, full-time into development and whatnot. And I traveled to South Africa. I was there for a month and a half. I know you're South African. So I was in Cape Town, living there, working. Now I've been in Palma the last 4 months. doing odd jobs here and there just to get money in the bank. You know how it is with entrepreneurship. It's a winding road of ups and downs that you don't know where you're gonna break through it. So he's like, you just do what you have to do to make this thing survive. I can't be doing charters and working on a boat and having that responsibility of the vessel, and then also trying to bring the software company into existence. Because as somebody with no previous, software experience, it's an extremely challenging thing to just learn how to do and start implementing within 4 or 5 months. So I had to leave that and then just go freelancing in between, which has been great.
Yeah, yeah. And I think that is a very good approach you're taking too, because sometimes if you're diving headfirst into a project like this, especially if it's something as new as you're taking on, you kind of fall victim to analysis paralysis, and you're like constantly focusing on the same product the whole time, where if you break that up by heading out to a boat and doing a quick charter, you kind of allow your mind to reset, which sounds counterintuitive, but I find it like that. When I'm putting too much attention into my business, and you start getting tunnel vision, and then one day you're out on deck, you're rinsing the boat after a passage, and suddenly you're like, holy shit, how did I not think of this before?
It just clicks.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just clicks. It just falls into place, dude. Exactly what you're saying. The universe will give you the answers when you allow yourself the time to receive them. And it's a cool flow. I don't know if you experienced in your own business, but it's like certain things lay out when you know you're doing something you're supposed to be doing. And so it all just becomes this nice cycle that refreshes and goes through these hardships, but then teaches you a lesson. And then you come back, reapproach with a different mindset and a stronger core. And you make that breakthrough. And then you're like, oh, that wasn't so bad. And you just keep pushing forward. That's what I find the most amazing about this. I mean, it's hell of a thing what we're doing, what you're doing, what we're doing here. It's like, it's amazing. And it just kind of recreates the whole person as a whole.
Yeah, for sure. And I do think that we're sitting in a golden era of productivity and new tools. And there was no way in hell 3 or 4 years ago I would be able to juggle what I can now if it weren't for all these tools out there with AI and just kind of harnessing and leveraging productivity software and things like that. It is cool. It scares a lot of people, and we can spend a podcast series on the threats that AI brings to the table. And yes, it will null and void certain occupations, but I'm a serial optimist naturally. That's just how I'm wired. And I believe that, as many doors as it closes, it will open so many more. People were worried during the Industrial Revolution when factories started taking the jobs of factory work, when machines started taking the jobs of factory workers. But that in turn opened so many more opportunities in managerial roles, which made them more money. And yeah, it's very doom and gloom. And whenever yachties come to me concerned about any of these developments, I'm pretty sure our jobs are safe. It's going to take a while it's going to take a while for a humanoid robot being able to do a washdown, make a cocktail, and do a generator service at the same time,
Yeah, 100%. We're safe when it comes to that. I just listened to somebody that does AI research today, and he was also pointing out some of the doom and gloom. But like you said, I'm the exact same way, man. I call myself an annoying optimist because I'm just annoyingly optimistic all the time.
Yeah.
And I just think that people, and like you said, the productivity and all the tools you can incorporate into your business, into your life, but it also allows the people that have good moral standing. People are doing this for just reasons because they want to help their fellow friends. Like you want to help yachties with their financial health. I want to help people with their managing of their time, managing of their boats and everything, and creating like a worldwide logistical system. It's just because I want to help my friends. You've seen the pain points. You've seen people go through these struggles. You see the opportunities that you say you have and you do have making this money, but then teaching people how to make those correct financial decisions. I mean, when I first started, my full goal was to save 80% every single month and then, retire in 15, 20 years. Of course, it was like a childish, uneducated belief, but I thought I could do that. Then you get down to Fort Lauderdale and then you're just, for the first time, you're hanging out with these new people from South Africa. I'm from North Carolina. I never thought any of my friends would be South African. And now I've just been to South Africa. But it's like, it's insane. And then you wind up just spending money, just going out. It's like, oh, I just dropped off. We're going to go to Nobu. I'm gonna take this nice, pretty a young lady over to this really nice restaurant, just
Yeah.
dropping bags on it, $200, $300, getting the works for what?
Yeah.
And you're just kind of you're trying to produce this image that you're like in a higher class, not so much a class, but like you have a bit more money than you do. And yes, it's fun for a while, but then the realities of life catch up to you where you're like, okay, you sit down and you're like, what am I actually doing here? What are my actual goals? Do I want to have a family? I just got this girlfriend. I really like her. What do I see long distance? And that's why I think it's so valuable for what you're doing at this current time and the audience you've grown with is that you're providing that service that like, hey, listen here, look what you can do. It's so easy. You can do these steps. I got you, man. And it's a great thing. And so I just want to say congratulations for that. It's a very important aspect of this industry.
Thanks. I appreciate that. And you mentioned pain points earlier, and that's often the genesis of any business, right? Like for me, I've always been interested in personal finance and investing, but I was poor as fuck. So I didn't have anything to invest. So only when I started yachting, I was like, oh wow, I have like a lot of disposable income, even as a decky, like for us, I'm sure you have countless South African friends, but and we sound like broken records, but we finish master's degrees at home, end up finding a job, and your first paycheck is like $500 a month. And then you fly to Palma, you start cleaning boats, and then you make 5x your money straight off the bat. So then suddenly you're a 21 or 22-year-old, pretty immature boy with all this excess cash. And, like you said, then a cute young lady comes by. You're like, let me treat you, honey. I got you. And suddenly you start living like the yacht owners. And, I was very blessed in my personal journey because the first owner that I worked for, I was sitting doing a nav watch one day, and like most yachties, just kind of autopilot, playing on my phone, whatever. And he came up and he's like, put that shit away. And he gave me a book on personal finance. And that kind of opened the door to me I started grasping compound interest and things like that. And watching my friends throughout the years in the industry spend money on beach clubs and bottle service and business class tickets on a vacation that you already can't really afford. I don't blame yachties because, we get immersed in a world of pure luxury, and human psychology, people always want to keep up with the Joneses. So, and oftentimes that is, you compensate by spending more than you are supposed to. So if we can teach Yacht Crew, even just a few of them, like what superpower you have as a young investor, you can really like forget about waiting 10, 15 years to retire. It can be shorter than that if you're aggressive. So it's all about just being mindful in what you spend on. And one concept that I really drive home a lot to people, because when people see my work and the stuff that I preach, they're like, oh, he's so cheap. He's like he's going to regret it one day when he dies and he didn't have any good experiences. I'm like, that's not what I'm saying. I spend a shit ton of money on stuff that I care about. I don't mind dropping $5,000 on a very epic adventure in the mountains where I go camping. Like there's a lot of logistics involved, but me personally, I don't care about clothes and I don't care about fancy food. So like you'll never see me dropping excess money on that. So I always tell people, spend extravagantly on the stuff you care about and cut mercilessly on the stuff you don't care about, which just means you're an intentional spender and you're getting value from things that you care about.
That's excellent. I think you and I are very much in common. Glad we had this conversation. But yeah, it's like I've been able to save up the majority of my money in this past year. I mean, yeah, starting the company is not cheap.
Yeah.
And then it's also in the same time, I was going to South America, going to the Andes, going to the Caribbean, going to Europe, and having a great time, but not killing myself and killing my fiscal responsibility to be able to do that stuff. Still having epic stories that we could probably both spend here going back and forth for the next like 2 hours of just amazing stuff that's happening in their lives. But it's like, you're also teaching them is like, just don't spend it on the dumb stuff. Don't put it up your nose. Don't drink it. Don't spend it on a girl that's going to find a captain that's younger and more attractive and more money. And she's going to say sayonara to you real quick. Just spend it on the stuff that when you're like 40, 45, you're going to think back and think, damn, that was some cool shit I did when I was younger. And then you also sell money in the bank.
Yeah, that's epic, dude. So I quickly want to tap into some of the stuff you've been busy with. So I saw you and your buddy David, you guys started the Yachties Name and Shame page a while ago, and epic. It is sometimes the only highlight in a long charter day is flicking through there and see, ooh, give me the goss.
Yeah, give me the
But
goods.
but also in the same breath, like it's concerning. Like your platform finally sheds light on voices that have often been tamed and not allowed to speak up about stuff. I personally am aware of one of the cases that is ongoing on those groups about a certain captain being accused for the umpteenth time about sexual harassment and things like that. That stuff that goes without saying, totally unacceptable. And I'm really glad that you guys created a platform where crew can speak up anonymously if they'd like, because we know often victims, it's a scary thing. They have a lot of trauma to process, and the last thing they want to do is have a target on their backs for speaking up. So I really commend you guys for creating that and giving Yachties a platform to be like, you know what, fuck that, enough. Like, this is not on. And also giving the positive side where you can fame people and be like, hey, okay, this page is normally about like shaming someone or like red flag boat. But sometimes there's a really like wholesome message out there being like, hey, I just finished a temp gig on this boat. The captain was awesome. The owners were awesome. Just letting you guys know, like, if you ever get an offer, highly recommend. Like, it's really sick what you guys did there. Well done.
Thanks, dude. Yeah, David was the one that created that, but I joined right afterward. We've been friends since the beginning of both of our careers, and it's kind of taken a shape of its own. It's because us at the team is we want to keep it an open source platform. I mean, yes, make sure the stories and accusations are as accurate as possible and have proof to back them up. But then it kind of just got to a point where we were just going like, oh my God, what are these stories? It's like, what is actually going on? And then you get more involved with stuff behind the scenes, with thefts, abuse, people stealing from the management companies, stealing from owners and whatnot, to the sums of millions and millions of dollars, and then sexual assault. And that poor girl that was, I don't want to go into too many details, but the page that was just horrendous stuff. And it's just like, oh my God, there's this really dark side to this industry that's been just swept under the rug. And our platform was the first one ever in the industry to give you kind of a sense of what it's like to pull back and look about what's underneath, what these people are actually doing. And I think that's kind of translated really well into what we're doing with YCC. It's basically an AI platform to get you access to any sort of resources you possibly need. Eventually, we're doing services, ordering for yacht management and whatnot, because I believe that's an important aspect. It just seems that, like, for an industry that's worth as much as this, has as many people in it, there's really no set global standard for how things should be operating. I mean, it's just all fragmented pieces. You have tens of thousands of management companies, all these different guys trying to take a slice of the pie, and it's just like, what the hell is going on? I mean, this should not be like this. And so that's the thing with the emerging technology and what AI is doing. It allows you to centralize everything. You can create a system to where it's accountable to just coding. You can't lie about your invoices. You can't double dip on this. You can't steal from the owner. You can't just make sure your buddy's the only one that gets these orders or whatnot. You also give people the opportunity to come into the industry with new innovative technologies. I just had one on my podcast. The guy's an Angel Wax. He can literally make you a custom exterior care product for your vessel. Just the exact paint, everything to make it as perfect as possible. No swirl marks, nothing. These guys are amazing, but they're still finding a lot of difficulty getting into the industry because everybody's been going with the legacy companies. And I just think there's so much that could be done, so much that could be improved upon, that somebody just has to step up and make this thing happen. It's like, I'm not a dude in front of the cameras. I don't like being in front of the cameras. I enjoy doing these podcasts. They're becoming more fun.
Yeah.
But I've just realized that I have an opportunity. We, Name and Shame, had an opportunity to come into the market with a solution that can just become global. I mean, we offer small business tools and dashboard to get you orderings, bookings, financial statements, all powered by an AI model. Crew dashboards get you access to legal services, mental health, accommodation, etc. But it's like just the very baseline of AI. It's a stepping stone into the yachting industry. And then you just expand from there. I mean, it's actually quite incredible what we can do with this, what we plan on doing with this. I mean, I'm not going to go into too many details because I don't want to give away all the secret sauce.
Of course.
But it's quite something.
Nice, man. Well, yeah, I really congrats and good luck on that venture. It's really exciting times, and the yachting industry is becoming a lot more competitive business wise. You know, I've been seeing a lot of, I don't want to say similar, because I don't know what exactly everyone's action plans are, but it's really cool to see. Like, I'm a big fan of like a competitive market landscape. It's where the best ideas come from. You know, Steve Jobs wouldn't have created Apple if he didn't have Bill Gates like breathing down his neck the whole time with Microsoft. And so at the end of the day, whatever routes people take to do this, as long as it's for the betterment of yachting and to kind of make, like you said, it's extremely fragmented and very inefficient for an industry that has so much money. I honestly I can't believe why the industry is so archaic on tech. Our boat's an exception because I happen to work for a tech billionaire who has a productivity software company, and we use his software on the boat to manage the vessel. So for me, I'm chilling. My paperwork went from like 4 or 5 days a month to 1 day as the first mate. And I know the power of technology and automation and what that can do on board. So it's really time for the gospel to spread around the industry.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping to achieve there. I mean, it's like just like an example. It's like I'm joining the boat. I'm doing a couple charters next week in Italy, and so yeah, sweet, awesome, fantastic. Took me a week to get a contract, not from the boys on the boat, but because the management company was dragging their feet to get a contract, just a simple contract sent over. I'm just like, wait, you guys are paying these guys how much money a month? Probably at least $4,000 or $5,000 a month. And we're waiting this long to just get a contract. I mean, that's just processes that can be automated. Yeah. Processes that you can, if you know the data, if you know the specific flag save regulations, you can pop up a MLC contract just like that.
Yeah, for sure. It also blows my mind. There's simply too many middlemen. And I actually see a use case like what you mentioned earlier with transparency, with people like embezzling money, people stealing millions of dollars from owners, these management companies, etc. Not blaming anyone in particular, but it's pretty common knowledge to us yachties that they are con artists. And I think if we can move this to something like a transparent blockchain, like a ledger where you're like, okay, there's no way to hide these transactions. You're like, then suddenly there's going to be a lot more truth coming out.
Yeah, and a lot more. And I think something like this, and the competition, new blood in the industry, it also forces people to innovate, to break from their old ways. And if they want to survive, they're going to have to create something or do something differently to better serve their clients, which in the end just helps improve the yachting industry, in my opinion. I mean, these guys, it's basically flushing out the bad people and all the bad stuff we see from Name and Shame by just introducing all these good systems that makes it not a space for them to continue anymore.
That's awesome, dude. Well, I'm really looking forward to seeing what you guys are building there. And yeah, for any yachty that it takes on a business, like it's gnarly out there, but it's doable. I think yachting teaches us how to be super flexible, how to be adaptive. You can kind of roll with the punches even when you're in 10 feet swell. So I find the challenges of sitting in front of the computer and trying to troubleshoot and find a solution to whatever problem or bottleneck I'm facing. I'm like, okay, this isn't too bad because last week we had a fire scare and that was a lot fucking scarier.
All in perspective, man. All in perspective.
That's it. So obviously my show is more in lines with money. I definitely found my niche in helping Yacht Crew with money. So you personally, what do you think the reason is why yachties are so incredibly terrible with money management?
I mean, because we're surrounded by the most fun things in the world. I mean, you're living on a yacht, you're getting off the yacht, just made a few $1,000s in charter tips, you're going out for the evening. We're going to go to drinks to places where they're close to the yacht, and that's always expensive. And then you have dinner there. You meet, like I said before, you meet a nice girl because, there's a lot of attractive women in the industry and around yachts. And so then you talk to her, you flirt with her, you get a hotel. And then before you know it, by the end of the night, you're spending like $1,000. And then you have to go back to the boat and then just deal with that anxiety all day. And then your buddies come out the next day and they're like, oh, let's go do this. Let's go do that. We're going to go on vacation. You don't want to go home. So you're going to go to Morocco for 2 months, live it up. I mean, there's just too much incentive to not be financially responsible. And I mean, in the beginning, that's fun. But if you move up in the ranks, I mean, you start earning more money. And I think if you just follow the simple advice, if you follow the advice that you give and whatnot, and you just put a portion of it away. You have your fun money, you have your experience money. Yachting's about experiences. I'm not saying don't have those experiences because you go to the most beautiful places in the world and you do things that nobody ever gets a chance to do. But have a portion of that where you're responsible with that, you're putting that away, put it in investments, whatever that is, an index, crypto. For me, I'm a crypto dude.
Nice.
But waiting on XRP, she's coming.
I see you joined that cult. Interesting.
Yep, I'm full into that. I'm full into that one.
Yeah.
My buddy just sends me all this stuff on it. But I mean, yeah, just put this stuff away. Do it smart. Index funds, S&P 500, NASDAQ. But have your fun.
Yeah, that's true. And that ties back nicely to like what I said earlier about being intentional. And also automation. If you build a system for yourself where you don't think about it, it removes all the human error, all the emotions, all the inevitable stuff that's going to be happening to you. So since I was a deckhand earning $3,000 a month, I automated that 70% of that goes away. As my paycheck increased, as I climbed through the ranks in yachting, that percentage allocation remained the same because that was already the habit. I kind of see that 70% of what I earn going to future Charl as being a bill, just like paying my rent or paying anything else. So once you build a system like that, it really removes all the friction of you needing to remember between very busy lives that we live, being like, oh, okay, this month I need to remember to transfer to my Roth IRA. This month I need to contribute to my emergency fund, where if you have systems that does it for you, it happens automatically. And in the markets, it forces you to ignore the news and not try to time and think that you're a stock picking genius, because newsflash, no one fucking is. And you just have to follow the course. If you had told me 2 months ago that the S&P 500 would be hitting all-time highs last week, I would laugh at you because we were in the midst of tariffs. Iran was getting bombed. Like Israel, like the conflicts are just everywhere around us. And look at what happened. Like the markets priced it in. And now everyone that was investing through the turmoil is back at all-time highs. So just keep it simple, follow the route, and don't think that you're a genius, because the best hedge fund managers in the world also fuck it up. So you're not going to get it right as a yacht crew member that looks at your phone twice a day to see stock prices.
Yeah, no, you're not going to become a daily trader. That takes so much effort, time, and just luck to do that. And then plus you're still probably not going to win more than the S&P 500 is going to win year over year. So just, take your money, put it away. So do you mean like doing automatic withdrawals into certain accounts and certain index funds and whatnot?
That's it. I like that approach. And now let's talk about getting out of here.
All right.
So this is a tricky one. This is always a sticky one when I talk to people, because I don't know if you felt this before, but I've kind of known since early days in yachting that I did not want to be a captain. I love what I do. I love being the chief officer, but I know my strengths lie in other departments in life. So for me, becoming a captain kind of seemed like I'm painting myself into a corner here. But a lot of the time when I mention this, and I'm a very public, loud person, I tell people what my plans are and what I do because it keeps me accountable. So when I tell captains, yeah, no, I'm fine. I don't want to progress. Like, I'm not going to do those tickets. I'm totally fine where I'm at. They're like, oh my God, what do you mean you don't want to become a master mariner? How dare you? Poseidon is going to bestow his wrath upon you. And I'm like, bro, I don't want to be a captain. Like, I like my job right now. And the reason for that is I want to leave myself the door open to exit when the time is right and not suddenly being maybe 40, 50 years old, having a family and being like, oh wow, this is it, like I'm having an existential crisis because I hate my job and I can't get out of it. So what do you think is the best way for yachties to reverse engineer an exit strategy?
I think probably following your advice, making yourself as financially free as you possibly can until you find something in your personal life that really becomes the heart of who you are. Because for me personally, it was like, yeah, I didn't want to be a captain. I got to mate, and my captain was like, you can take over this program, this vessel. And I'm just saying, nah, it's not for me. I want to have a wife, I want to have kids, and I want to be there every night to see my wife and kids. It's just who I am. I'm a Southern boy. But I believe yachting gives you a opportunity to find out really who you are as an individual and really figure out what makes you tick and what can become the true purpose of your life, whatever that may be. And then you just have to find a way to make money about it. I mean, it's taking a long time for this, but I'm extremely passionate about what I'm doing here. I like the systems. I like designing this stuff. I like the ability to help other people's. And I just find AI so damn interesting. But it's also, I come from a technical background. I come from a racing background. Used to build race cars and go racing and all this different types of stuff. But I just think it's a tough one, man. It's so hard if you can't find something that you want to do outside of it. But I think maybe it's like sometimes if this isn't what you want to do, really have to just pull the plug.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
It sucks. And like you can do this forever. It's so much fun. And before you know it, 10 years are down the road. But sometimes you just got to pull it.
Winners know when to stop. And yeah, for everyone listening and hating what I just said, I have no offense if you do love it and yachting is indeed your passion. If you want to be a captain, grab it with both hands, go out for it. I just want more people to be open-minded to those of us that don't necessarily seeing yachting as the be-all and end-all and still being allowed to pursue other ventures and interests. And it's not a zero-sum game. I'm still doing my best on my boat every single day. My captain knows it, the owner knows it, my crew know it. And just because I don't want to take over the captain role doesn't mean like I'm not going to do my best every day. So that's a really important like stigma I want to break out there because I'm kind of fed up of reading the comment section and being like, oh, this guy's like, he doesn't know anything about yachting. He's just doing it for the money. I'm like, yes, you are correct, sir. There's cool experiences, but I'm doing it for the money. Like, sue me.
Yeah, we're not doing this for free.
Yeah, like, I mean, come on. Like, I grew up, if I read one more resume of, I grew up on the ocean and I'm so passionate about the environment. I'm like, well, if you're passionate about environment, you shouldn't be scrubbing two-part on the deck and then letting acid flow in through the scuppers into the ocean.
Yeah. Don't be emptying the wet vac of all the stuff you just sucked up from the villages and put it in the ocean. You're extremely environmentally friendly.
Exactly.
The thing for this industry for me is like there's a whole bunch of egos and stuff in it that doesn't allow you to kind of express who you really are as just an individual and for people to be okay with that. I mean, on these bigger boats and it's crazy. That's why I think name and shame is so important. It gives people the place in the area to speak out about these things where when you're on board, it's just like a military experience and you just can't think this way, you can't talk that way. Or you might end up hurting somebody whose entire personality is attached to that vessel.
Yeah. You're so right. Oh man, I had a really good time with you today. I believe we'll be doing it again. I'm very glad to hear that you are also part of the Yachting International Radio Network.
Yeah, man, we've had a few shows. It's been fun. It's actually been really fun. I'm enjoying doing these shows so far.
It's a cool process. And shout out to Raya. Thanks for giving us all a platform to chat on. And for those that haven't yet, go like and subscribe to Yachting International Radio on all the channels you listen to your podcast to. Alex, just before we wrap it up, how can people get in touch with you? How can they connect with what you're building?
Yeah, sweet. You can find me. The best for all business contacts would be on LinkedIn, Alex Siegars, or on Instagram, Alex Siegars. All right, Yacht Crew Center on both Instagram and LinkedIn. And yeah, I look forward to keep showing you guys what we're doing and how we can help improve this industry. I mean, it's cool shit. It's fucking cool shit. We can curse on this one, right?
It's called the Rich as Fuck podcast. So.
Yeah, it's Rich as Fuck podcast. All right, yeah, man. That's where you can find me. Send me a message. And if not, we'll find each other another time.
Awesome, dude. Well, thanks for your time and good luck with your charter season coming up. We'll catch up soon.
All right, you too, man. Thank you.
If your brand belongs in the heart of the yachting world, this is where it happens. Yachting International Radio reaches over 1 million yachting professionals and enthusiasts every month with 77 million impressions, 220,000 social followers, and 74,000 podcast subscribers. Our hosts are insiders, crew, captains, CEOs, trusted voices shaping the industry. This is targeted, high-impact advertising in a luxury niche. Visit yachtinginternationalradio.com/advertise. Your audience is already listening.